Pakba Chimbe Peyun Tembe Dodele Chamba la Nede Chimba Jinna Nambar Mimba Nusem Meba Raptu Tobar Gyuro Ningje la Nede Chimba Jinna Nambar Mimba Tsewa Meba Raptu Tobar Gyuro Gawa la Nede Chimba Jinna Nambar Mimba Mijikba Chimba Raptu Tobar Gyuro Tangnyom la Nede Chimba Jinna Nambar Mimba Mingawa Pongwa Raptu Tobar Gyuro Namba Natso Ki Chimba Jinna Nambar Mimba Longje Natso Raptu Tobar Gyuro Lenla Mire Wala Nede Chimba Jinna Nambar Mimba Lana Mebe Yangdakpara Zobe Changju Raptu Tobar Gyuro She Songso.
From the Sutra on the Noble Teaching, The Benefits of Generosity, it says, if we practice generosity by abiding within loving kindness, we will fully attain a mind free of ill will as the result. If we practice generosity by abiding within compassion, we will fully attain non-violence as the result. If we practice generosity by abiding within joy, we will fully attain fearlessness as a result. If we practice generosity by abiding within equanimity, we will fully attain the elimination of hatred as the result. If we practice generosity of various kinds, we will fully attain various enjoyments as the result. If we practice generosity by abiding non-expectation, we will fully attain the unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment as the result. Updates on Pal Thubten Shedrub Ling Monastery. His Eminence Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche envisioned and blessed Pal Thubten Shedrub Ling Monastery, which is also commonly known as Thousand Buddha Temple. Rinpoche wishes to present his monastery to the world so that everyone entering the monastery may feel blessings of the three jewels. It is his wish that when visitors visit Lumbini, the birthplace of the previous three Buddhas, and the predicted birthplace of 996 future Buddhas of this aeon, they feel drawn to visit the Thousand Buddha Temple. This is why the Thousand Buddha Temple is unique in idea and exquisitely created. The total construction plan is divided into 3 phases. 1. The main shrine temple that houses one big hall, one smaller hall, one big library on the 2nd floor, a teaching hall and small living quarters. The building is near to completion. The main temple can accommodate up to 2,500 people. Dharma quarters are designed to house approximately 200 monks and nuns or laymen. Lumbini Garden, not yet initiated in Lumbini, but some planning and preparation work has been done at Bodha. The main shrine temple. The massive logs for the windows, balustrades and primary entrance doors of Thousand Buddha Temple were transported from different parts of Nepal. These woods are commonly known as sal wood and are extremely solid and last very long. Right after the arrival of these woods, the craftsmen have begun working on the doors, and some of them are now done with the carvings of Tibetan monastic style. Wooden panelled windows have been installed. Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche often mentioned that large windows could provide plenty of light. As Lumbini's climate is hot, large windows help to improve air circulation and bring fresh air into the room. Those who practice here will feel the mind is fresh and clear. 2 rows of carved wooden balustrades will encircle the open area on the 1st floor overlooking the Thousand Buddha statues. The outer and the inner balustrades will be placed parallel to each other. Inner balustrades are smaller and have different design compared to the outer balustrade. Construction of the main door is ongoing. All windows and doors except for the main doors are double glazed with toughened glass and air gap to provide improved insulation and noise reduction. A decorative pyramid-like radiance has been installed on the ceiling of the 8 Bodhisattva teaching hall, which is on the first floor, to allow the light to percolate. The marble flooring was successfully completed up to the 3rd floor with matching granite escorting. Marble is a suitable element for the monastery because it can withstand the hot temperatures and a high volume of foot traffic. Marble is easy to clean. Also, the good news is that flooring of the main hall will be done as soon as the 1,000 Buddhas are fully installed. Granite is used for construction of staircases inside the main temple. The modern staircases are built wide enough to allow easier access to the different floors. Tibetan decorative railings will be installed alongside of the staircases on either side for the hand support and safety. The elevator has been installed. This is mostly for the senior citizens and people with challenging health conditions when they come to visit the monastery. It will provide convenience and easy passage for everyone, especially when ascending to the Manjushri Hall or Rinpoche's room. Plumbing works for the main temple is at 80% completion. The high-density polyethylene is used as the pipe material for durability and resistance. Water for the monastery will be provided from 2 wells, which are still under construction. 7 water tanks containing 2,000 litres each are already installed to supply water for the monastery at full capacity. The tanks are capable of supplying sufficient water for drinking, kitchen, toilets and other purposes. 2 water wells are bored, one at 125 metres northwest and the other at 100 metres northeast to the main temple. The entire monastery will be supplied with water from these wells. The stone of different grain sizes are discovered when digging the earth's surface at various levels. The different grains of sand collected are shown in the images at 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 295 and 395 feet. At a depth of 295 feet, aquifers were uncovered and clean water was retrieved. The pump installation is now the next step. A 3-phase transformers have been installed on the network corner of the main temple to provide power to the main temple and Dharma quarters. The transformer will be utilized for air conditioning, elevator and lighting system for the main temple, including the Dharma quarters. The construction of the butter lamp offering house is one of the latest efforts at the 1,000 Buddha temple. It is located in an open area south of the main temple. A butter lamp house can be found in every monastery as in Tibetan tradition, and it symbolizes sharing wisdom and compassion. The topmost floor of the 5-storied main temple is the meditation hall where one can meditate in peace. Below the meditation hall is high Lama apartment and consists of Rinpoche's bedroom with attached bathroom, a reception, a waiting room, attendant room with attached bathroom, kitchen and a small coffee station. Overlooking the Rinpoche's waiting room is a large terrace which will house beautiful seasonal plants. His Eminence Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche blessed the start of mural painting at the 1,000 Buddha Temple on 21st of March 2021. In a few years, he aspires to complete these stunning murals covering the walls of the entire main temple. Let us all rejoice and join hands in this noble endeavor. Several metal scaffoldings were constructed to provide painters access to the ceiling and other inaccessible sections. Selecting and blending colors is one of the most difficult aspects of painting. It demands skill and dedication. His Eminence Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche paid a visit to 1,000 Buddha Temple and guided the color selection and mixing process. Starting from scratch, Lama Thokme, a master of monastic art, has actively volunteered his time and talents to help with the whole painting process. Many people are truly motivated in painting of 1,000 Buddha Temple. May this magnificent endeavor be completed successfully in the near future. White hues were used as a primer, followed by golden outlines. Let us all rejoice and join hands in this noble endeavor. Over 30 people are working full-time to complete the mural painting on the interiors of the main temple. White color pacifies all the adverse factors such as sickness and evil spirits and purifies the aggregate of form. And it symbolizes Vairochana of the 5 Buddha families. It also purifies the water element and symbolizes the Mama Ki of the 5 consorts. As for the negative emotions, it purifies the ignorance and symbolizes the Dharma Dhatu wisdom. Red color is favorable to the wish of self and others and brings everything under one's power. It purifies the aggregate of perception and symbolizes the Amitabha of the 5 Buddha families. It purifies the fire element and symbolizes Yomchen Mogos Karmo of the 5 consorts. As for negative emotions, it purifies attachment and symbolizes the discriminating wisdom. Blue color is devoid of faults, and it is the infinitely various activities and accomplishes the supreme siddhi. It purifies the aggregate of consciousness and symbolizes Akshobhya of 5 Buddha families. It purifies the space element and symbolizes Yumchen Yingi Wangchokma. For the negative emotions, it purifies aversion and symbolizes the mirror-like wisdom. Yellow color increases the splendid of the world's sentient beings. Life, virtue, and wisdom. It purifies the aggregate of sensation and symbolizes Ratna Sambhava of the 5 Buddha families. It purifies the earth element and symbolizes the Yumchen Sangye Chenma. As for the negative emotions, it purifies miserliness and symbolizes the wisdom of equality. Color green is free from all the obstacles and mishaps. It purifies the aggregate of formation and symbolizes Amoghasiddhi of the 5 Buddha families. It purifies the wind element and symbolizes Yomchen Damsing Drolma. As for the negative emotions, it purifies jealousy and symbolizes the all-accomplishing wisdom. In the main Lakang, there are 49 ceilings, 19 of which have been painted magnificently under the supervision of His Eminence Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche and Lama Thokme, who is a Himalayan Buddhist monastery design expert. The remaining 30 ceilings will be painted with murals, and we welcome your participation. Please email us at admin@ka-ningshedrubling.org. Monastery ornaments are made in copper and most of them are ready. They will be now sent for gold gilding. We warmly welcome your participation in supporting gold gilding. Please feel free to send us an email at admin@ka-ningshedrubling.org. The Gilded Dharma Chakra wheel flanked by 2 deer will be installed on the roof over the front entrance of the monastery as a crowning gold emblem. This wheel and deer design is derived from the Buddha's first turning of the wheel of Dharma in the deer park at Sarnath. 6 gold-gilded norbu will be installed on the corners of the monastery. Norbu means jewel and refers to the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, whose power can free sentient beings from the clutches of cyclic existence and rebirths. 4 chusing will be placed on the rooftop in 4 directions, symbolizing the protector of the Buddha and his teachings. On all the corners of the main temple will be 10 cylindrical structures called gyaltsen, which is made of beaten copper. The gyaltsen is literally victory banners, signifying the presence of Buddhism, and in some texts it symbolizes the Buddha's victorious Dharma radiating to the 4 directions. On the roof of the main temple, a 9-foot gold-gilded copper gajur, or pinnacle, will be erected, flanked on each side by a 6-foot gajur. This ornament is known as kenapema. It is a decorative element found in monasteries. The chain of numerous segments of kenapema will encircle the roof of the 1000 Buddha temple. Dharma quarters. Many Dharma quarters will be available at 1000 Buddha temple for devoted Dharma practitioners to stay temporarily when coming to do meditation studies or participate in any other events. We are planning to start the construction of those quarters as soon as possible. The location of the quarters will be in the monastery's perimeter region as shown in the photographs. It is also displayed in the drawings. We warmly appreciate your participation in the construction of the Dharma quarter. Please email us at admin@canningshedrubling.org.
Here in Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha, following the intention of Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche, we are building a large temple with the Buddhas of the 3 times, along with 1,000 Buddha statues, all filled with mantras of the Buddhas. The benefits of this are incredible. Even just the presence of a temple with 1,000 Buddhas and with the Buddhas of the 3 times filled with mantras. The benefits of such a place simply existing are inexpressible. Arriving in such a place, the mind becomes calm. We gather the accumulations of merit and wisdom. Simply rejoicing in such a place gathers immeasurable merit. When ordinary people come here, they can rejoice, and they receive the blessings of the Buddha's body, through seeing the Buddha images, and also the blessings of the Buddha's speech, as well as the blessings of his mind. I think this also has the power to purify the evil deeds from this life as well. Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche, building a large temple in Lumbini, the style of this temple follows the Tibetan tradition. Temples like the Yumbulakar, a small temple from King Nyatri Tsempo's time, and later the Potala, built at the time of King Songtsen Gampo, and the temple for Rangjung Jowo brought from Singala by Thubten Shedrub Ling. These are some of the main examples. The Buddha, the Dharma, and many Dharma teachings are kept in such temples. and also the precious Rinpoche temple. These are the precious examples upon which we, following Kyabje Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche's guidance, are building this temple in the Tibetan style. We are also using a Tibetan color scheme. The process of building a temple starts with finding the correct place, purifying the ground, breaking the ground, drawing the lines, placing vases in the earth, and so forth. Then we build the foundation and bless the space, put blessed substances inside the pillars and the pillar foundations, and put mantras inside of them to make the temple stable. In the past in Tibet, there were not many windows, so not much light came inside, but we've made larger windows to let in more light and used masculine colors rather than feminine colors, which allow more light to enter into the space. Also, the interior spaces are modern, with lots of space to sit and move around. It's very spacious and nice. There is a portico for the protectors. I'm going to explain starting from the outside. The portico for the protectors is something that all temples need, and we try to make this as attractive as possible. And then we paint the 4 great kings and the various types of protectors, the worldly ones, wisdom ones. Also, you see the pillars and the pillar capitals. I'll explain it just in brief. Now you see the 4 pillars in the front, right? Here we put images that represent the king, ministers, queens, and the generals, and symbols of the 7 royal possessions. They represent the king seated on his throne, and the ministers and queens and generals and so on below. These are the designs that are placed on the capitals of the pillars. Then at the center of the pillar capitals, we've put the 4 great pillars according to the tradition of Milarepa. They're adorned with a tiger, a lion, a Garuda, and a dragon. Rinpoche told us to put these there. To the left and the right are mostly Dzibata, and also in the east and south we have again the tiger, lion, Garuda, and dragon. Inside, on the pillar capitals, there are the offering substances offered by offering goddesses to the temple and the Buddhas inside of it. This includes representations of the 8 auspicious symbols, 8 precious substances, 7 gems, 5 sense pleasures, and so forth. Now, here to the right and left of the protector portico and around the sides are the gallery, or the passageways. They're both upper and lower galleries. When we meditate upon the celestial palace, we visualize a passageway around the outside, right? Or sometimes it is between the inner and outer part of the mandala. That is the gallery. Also, we have on the outside of the temple the Protruding Foundation, which is in a celestial palace, the place where the goddesses make offerings. The Protruding Foundation on the outside goes all the way around. It has different names in temples. It's called the Satur, but it's the same as the Protruding Foundation in the celestial palaces where the offering goddesses stand. Then, above the pillars, there are a number of different layers of ornamental designs. And then the ceiling and the smaller roof, and above that, the rooms. This is the place where the lamas have visiting rooms, personal rooms, sleeping rooms, and so on. All of the mantras up there written in the Lansa script are the Ye Dharma mantra. That is written above the beams. Above that, again, is a layer of lotuses, offering substances, and so forth. All sorts of ornamental layers, and then finally a small roof, and on top of that, the main roof. At the front of the main roof will be the Dharma wheel with male and female deers on the sides of it. You can see here on the left and the right the part that's painted on one side and not yet painted on the other side. Below this, because this is a temple with peaceful deities inside, there's an ornamental structure on the roof, then what we call the large lotuses, which are made of wood. Not large pieces of wood, but relatively small ones. Above that is the roof, and then the large lotuses, and then the small lotuses. The large lotuses, when they're done properly, they're ornamented by the Kala Chakra symbol, the 8 auspicious symbols, the 8 precious substances, and so forth. These all together are all called the lotus ornaments. Ideally, these are gilded with copper or gold. And below, in the corners of the roof and below the rooms, we will place the ornamental gems. Starting from below are the mantras of the Buddha, written in the Lansa script. Here, since we will put the images of the Buddhas of the 3 times, the mantras in the middle section are all the mantra of Shakyamuni. Those on the right side are all the mantra of the past Buddha Dipankara. And the mantras on the left are all of the future Buddha, Maitreya. Then, on the side, following the sutra tradition, are the mantras of the manifold Buddhas. Then down here are the mantras of the 8 close sons of the Mahayana tradition. And then over here are the mantras of the noble 16 elders. Over here, starting with the mantra of the Dharmakaya Samantabhadra, are the mantras for the 3 Kayas, the Yidams, Noble Tara. Below, over there in the corner, are the mantras of the protectors of the place, like the 4-armed Mahakala. This is a brief explanation of the inner decorations. Here I'm giving a bit of an explanation of the temple at Lumbini built by Chokyi Shedrub Ling. I can't explain too much, but just briefly, here we have, starting from below, the base of the pillars, the pillar capitals, and the various layers of ornamentation that we place at the top of the pillars. Including the lotuses, offering substances, and so forth. Each of the layers has its own name in Tibetan. Then there's the ceiling. Of course, the pillars are essential for the temple. They hold everything up. Without them, the temple would not stand. The pillars are what allow us to build multiple stories. Here, we have 40 pillars. The central area has a place for the 3 main Buddha images in the temple, the Buddhas of the 3 times. Behind that will be the 1,000 Buddhas. Above that are images of the ornamental tassels and half tassels and other ornaments. For the inside of this temple, generally we from Chokyi Shedrub Ling are following the traditional Tibetan style. So here we have the central temple room, and above, as is traditional, there's also an open passageway around the perimeter. This inner space, I've explained, also around the perimeter and above the windows are the ornamental tassels and half tassels. There will also be images of accounts from the previous lives of the Buddhas, the 12 great deeds of the Buddha, and so forth. This monastery will be a seat for the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the 3 jewels. There is nothing more precious than that. They are inconceivably precious. So we are building the temple as a support for them. Since the Buddha is so precious in Tibet, the ceiling is traditionally gilded with gold because the Buddha is inside. There are also images of the 5 Buddha families, the 8 Vidyadharas, and so forth that adorn the roof. We have 3 different roof structures here. So these would all be gilded with gold. Also, we put the dharanis, like white umbrella chakras, and so on, together with the life pillar. And below is the Dharma wheel, to represent the ever-turning wheel of the Dharma. To ensure that the Buddha Dharma remains continuously in the world, for a very long time. We placed victory banners on the roof. Also, there are ornamental gems on the roof corners. As an auspicious coincidence to ensure the presence of resources for the monastery. Also at the edges of the roof are lotus-shaped rain gutters all the way around. A line of countless lotuses which will be gilded with copper and gold. I think that's pretty much it. Kyabje Chokyi Nyima Rinpoche is benefiting the Dharma and beings in such a vast way. My personal relationship with Rinpoche started when I was 12 years old. I was staying at Thubten Shedrub Ling Monastery at the time because my uncle was painting the monastery. I wasn't able to help him much because I was just a kid, but I did help out a bit here and there. I was so fortunate. At that time, Tuga Urgyen Rinpoche was there, and they were always ordering bricks and bringing them for the construction. I was able to help a little bit with that and with the concrete for the protector temples. I remember that very well. As for painting, I didn't help much because I was just a kid, running around and playing here and there, and didn't yet have much of a concern for such things. But still, that was my fortune as a child. Later, Rinpoche contacted me, and I really don't have so many skills, but because I had a little bit of experience, Rinpoche, with great kindness, told me to help with this project. For myself, I feel it's such an incredibly fortunate opportunity to be able to gather merit by serving a little bit in this way. As for the temple, there is actually more still to do than what we have already done. We've only just finished a little bit of the painting, but there's still so much to do. The main outer structure is done, but the interior still has so much work to be done. This is a way to gather merit. Kyabje Rinpoche is benefiting beings by teaching the Dharma for the benefit of students. But we need the support of sponsors to complete this project. If someone has a good motivation, thinking that this is an opportunity to accumulate merit, then I think this is a wonderful project to support. This is the way that I personally relate to the project. I feel that I'm accumulating so much merit by working on this project. And of course we need merit in order to gain wisdom. Also thinking about the practice that will happen in this temple, circumambulations, hundreds and thousands of prostrations, mundro practice. All of this is for the purpose of gathering the accumulations of merit and wisdom. We can do this with generosity, giving to those in need, and also making offerings to the monasteries that uphold and preserve the Dharma. This is a way to make a lot of merit, even putting a drop in the ocean of merit accumulation. That's really all I have to say. There's still a lot left to do here. Milarepa said something about the auspicious relationship between the meditator who's practicing in the mountains and the patron that supports him. A connection is present in the dedications made on their behalf, right? He said something like this. Also, if we want to attain Buddhahood, we have to gather merit, and I think supporting this project is a good way to gather merit. Even just seeing this monastery will be a cause for people to generate faith and pure perception, and thereby to gather merit. So, if we think about the merit connected with it, we should understand that this temple is so precious and important. People will receive blessings just from seeing it from outside, And then if someone goes inside and sees the 1,000 Buddha images and is inspired and naturally generates faith, that is a supreme method for purifying their obscurations in this life. Also, if we pray and have the intention that building this temple becomes a cause for Nepal, India, and the whole world to be free from illness and conflict, this temple is close to being finished. And it will eventually be a place where many tens of thousands of monastics come to stay and practice. What an auspicious thing.
Also, her tangmo chupo dake losar ba se shuarela ene nam losar shebe gadula tashi dele pusucho tendu dewa tobrasho ema pato konghamsang se shuare tenale tendu dewa se te tarbata tumrichi be kompa tobrasho se shuare pe kanjem jonte sanji tempa tarne peme ninne temechese te tabe chue bare tenrele tenne tendu dewa tobrasho sengete tenji dewa tarbata tumrichi be kompa 토브레쇼 핀수 찍찍라 자신 세외 거네 아 찍찍라 근데 쇼고요 그래라 네 달랜데 자신 별이 분다 제일 쇼베게 별이 분다 제일 쇼베게 별이 분다 쩨베게 로사바 생이 타니 배주 나게 여도 쫄라 다시 될 쇼에 대한 도르드나 로사를 세게 대치 배주 나겐초 배주 나den게 전주 바샤다임 도당 전종 히말라야 리주 네팔레 라다 가샤 메다와 띠르디 테네 치보호르키요 라 소바 mambochiki losarpa sadela kuji shugiyore te shugoya jonchente kare sana te tanye te pyoge tanye imbare te pyoju nandenke chamyobare tendele tenne chikla trashi dele punsum cho ema pato kongkham sang tendu dewa tobrasho sekengi 디나라 더 삼모 뭐고 지상도요래 다티 개바치게 파탄나 산지 수베게 추술 차상하지 디나라 만두바다 마사와 매버래 산지 추디 자치보시에네 치수의 유르진 남샤 남잼비 샘진 남샤 타르바다 템치치 줍술기 거송아래 티코드 춘 도르드나 산지 강송아래 남 템바래 람 라바 남바숨 템바래 대소서 나이 쳐라 터비 람땡지 터바랑라 요지 셰브리지 소아레 대소서 로사르반디갈 아주 로사르라 구지치게 알아줘 여도 쪽에 덤바투지쟁게 고송토게 연대셰네 닝타바네 대물 제거야 당 덤베게 숭베 담출랑 아주 퇴섬 검숨 제거야 돼다 로사르 찌베게 거밤 팬방 오마테 테임바레라 테 강게 챙게 요르데 더 칼보철에 낸덴 세능에 강가라 닝타바네 레콜 쉬야데 강게게 덤바투지 쟁게 송 삽지 자체 같은 걸로 퇴성 감소 야고 나로나 대나다 첸델을 집어 안에 치가를 집어 바로도 긴직다 매봐 안에 타르바다 탐지심배 고마야 톱도 그래 강겐 천천바래 라버도 나쇼래시라 장반 매켄 속에테 데콜라 대형 갈보실래 nenden치는 저섬 야본 알아나 템비심바 긴두지 데레 야 긴두지 데 나나야 땡사 gelong니 인데 gelong니 저 까버네 소리 템비사와티 긴두기 데나 데레라 데나라 데네 dom바다 뎀베 긴두바yen 바래 domden gelong serlekan soare 대소자 단 직전치 감된데나라 산지지 템바 뿌타고 저 거야나 라바 추든지 라바 땡긴지 라바 셔럽지 라바 람라바 나바솜라 퇴섬 나오는 냠레 나오는데 산지지 템바 샤망 와마 진지텔 네투 그래 대소자 파비 긴두지 대탐지 투tum바 템장바 퇴섬 검수주 투주 추바 체주 좀 쓰면 좋던데 내내 잠랭기 유튜브라 담배 취했지 가르쳐 그러다 체벌 나토베 게 레와도 문두당 대나네 다템반 진베기 지부 제당 제자 질산지 템반 진케 여도죠 제자 파바체레스 메인 나버 샤와 가니 꾸지 샤베 템바던 제바트는 초고든 제바 게 먼저 닝타보는 쉬고요 안에 시다 제니 뉴스 좀베게 렌전 쉬고요 다 대단한 델베 토네 다 달린데 내사 체버제 넘버 2지 샥자 투바 암 샥자 문니 꽃담바 담사이 임바짬 마세 데베산체 탐 찍고 담베 네데 내초 룸비네 살 세임바레 다 내초 룸비네 살라 데네 다 탄다 마야 템플로세 jumal hanche ke laka sami ta yore tan jaga shusetere 들을라 데네 yumlama jumal hanche ke kunye tha 데네 shunu tundu kunye de cha de baje charu ye baje tindachi 받은 제면도 티시라 셈 줘버려 이나야 산제 소비 취라 고도 약보여나 안에 지달대시 고소 신뢰장 기바 진짜로데 캐비치 소여와 대소자 산제지 소비기 취라 퇴섬 여백게 기본 넘버 쳐라 됐음을 된데 투라 되는 제 마다와 마도와다 용신도 가보 말해 예나야 산제지 취라 고도시라 매게 되는 다른 뭐 지는데 짠네 되네다 내초 루빈이 살라 단 제가 주고 삼네 르크 갈레자 반저당 퇴수 만보지 당하네 가시 남들 배겨 가시 모델을 용어요 다 간데 팹네 된 내산될 팹도 갑슬라 단 제 tinda지 마도 매나 매버레라 태송장 셈을 초로 가려 용거래 셈을 쫓나지 용 쓰기래 아카데 가려이나 삼 다음에 대반 너베 대반 이체베 대반 친미도베 대반 생겨와 어다 다음에 대바디 줄이 제깔 가고 그래 셈도 좋아도 용 쓰기래 텐데 다 대외 정도나 때네 레 까르보 게벨레 제 사야라 페베레 되네 달레 미게 와지 사시기래 대 가르선 즉바사이래 다 된데 염생이 그 끝에 군년티 수도 바이나 수 작아이나 셈라 셈 쫀당지다 셈르데 샤당지 제와이나 달래냐 봐서버래 텐데 좋아이나 배셈 줘버래 텐데 텐데라 때네 내서 쳐버봐 텐데 찍라 대콤베 tombe 군예 태안 대배 산제 다대 산제 마운 준주르 산제 또바 두숨 산제 우르쇼 예연이라 산제 동거지 대야 설산로 줘봐 꾸주 설산로 줘봐 인지 좁져요 봐지 싱톱나 산능하랑 쌈르시라 이렇게 이면 첨부지요라 이 예면대 여바 나신지 나한테 된대지 싱톱소 치 공바태야 되는 거 야gar 파비요라 빠날렌데 줄라캉 베까말레 줄라캉 오덴 버리 줄라캉 라소바 실라 샤부토 네 배간지 주종을 때네 건바쳐 보신 여바라라 tinsuke tene koba tinsu halebeke kora tambe chönal suwa shishaka tone gonde chenpo tinsu junyore tindeji shingtomna sam tene jidang shaye kanla kawa mongbo yore kawa ta dungma ta tinsu kanga la goba junsen yore shaye kang se song yore ti shele shabe tone 때 마운 중주르게 메랍 솔라야 벤천 용거래 삼네 근데 자체 보지 뿌다 보지 신 대패체 다 좁도고요 다들 영향 그 잡아 더버테 단데 자체 매만게 로람 춘줄로 두고요래 데 관계 강가라 예치체 근데 달라만데 야보지 치기래 고네 데 가시 그 옷수 대용 깔래잡 가시 그 주반저로 또 그냥 로람나 가시게티는 롭데나 단 돈나 히말라야 게 미리다 베리다 자리다 유럽다 아리다 돈 잠블링 초 마음버지게 미리 마음버지게 tingata dewa yobarela ngalachi gamechi게다 이치치게 뭐봐요 간게 그 튼주로라는 때네 때 다르데 둘라 칸침보 첼라 빨투된 Shedrub Ling 슈그여라 tensan mesuke thousand Buddha temples that today ming to the center the taxado. Tenson da chi goba nankin nangte pusum sobaji in the shing you that they should go a jimsing or mati carre seshuna. Nasi shepherd jen the jilla then a nambake ngaraso san namba yodocho mang chen de pegiore. 내신 신제가 폐기요래 뒤나네 담보 끝담상 내던데 이말에 대폐기요래 대어떤 바 샥게토 바 짬마세 대배산지 탐 찍고 담산 대 임바당 산지 탐 제상제세 때 도르지 대인데 바래 대 디니데 내 탐지전하는 초도 줄바인데 바래 도주 니간 송샤바제래 대 가긴 친신 바래 대배산지 속에 되는 고송토게 진압대 내데 esa dendela pa chinchi labiore 다단 내 차버진 되게 남 대달래 ngaransu 추 고송토 그 진압대 슈고래 대슈 대대 파샤다 잡아 다 손넘지 소 삼지메 잡자 이시치 나와 제토 된데 용수 용거요래 된데 그거가 좀씩 마음보질 때네 산지 똥고 샬 쇼베게 뭐 졸라칸테 다 신토바래라 타피체 데 톱라 냐바지 대소장에 데르 나라서 자용 데 Thubten Shedrub Ling kompadela ngoshu yusumne roram다 셴데 난게 강가라 땡아주데 달래 잡아 같이 간데 제도 저런저게 ngoshu yusum네 말라 근데 튼저도 로라나 강가 추추도 마사바잖아 강가 춤데 네 저런저를 땡고거래 가르서는 땡이 랭게레 대소서 다단데 서도 피야 임바탕 대나네 딱 덤바투지jen게 덤바된 잠벨링라 유령부 내고고요레 대네버샤발라 딱딱 땜들 칼치슈 지덤백군의 챙이데 덤바 싱네 대라 송양 푸순사법표 대네 초가야 람네 추술 거 초다 덤바 표 대답을 표바테 내 차바르jan을 슈수 쏠네 근데 제바이나 대 자체 메마 내제 벽에 쏠라 다티 절세 된된 생한테 작요래 절세 된된 생한테 가르에서는 통로를 전부 작요래 잘와 잠지게 심지게 차다 모som던 데게 녀면에 동서때 마 시용 거래 샘텔을 흘쳐지다 샘텔을 닝지지 라시게 가와지다 닝지지다 무구 슈게 제게래 텐델레 때네 되게 바자도 잡아 다 손남지 소 삼지미사바 제 예시시 나와 제토 그래 대소전데 통로를 첨버래 트돌이야 임바레라 가르스나다 긴두 마부진데 쇼네 된 도다 아 다 진짜 송쇼 망보 난 그래. 진짜를 때 퇴조량 임버래. 통퇴. 퇴조량 임버래 대답던 백에 또바 투지진 그 군에 동지 샤는제네 제사는 대 박샤디 줄을 샤데 대소 산지 동구 샤는자서 샘데 박샤지 샤샤 대 퇴조량 차 그래. 용도를 차그래 또 투지제 산지 동구 당 동구 된들밖에 초가요래 초가때 땅에 초가때 된들밖에 늦지 추추 양식이래 된데 질랍 자침부터래 산제다 장주선 받다좀 발라서 비겠네 질랍 된데 가서 방네 되게 자치 매마 내제 남게 솔때 표바이나 때 용도를 차그래 용도를 차래 근데 졸와 남시 코르와 등쪽쇼 송여래 졸와 남시 다 되게 졸와 남시 대신도 다 딱돌생이야 이거래 딱돌이야 이거래 다 갑데르 되게 근데 그거 좀세만 뭐 찍을 때네 된도네 돈바투지 제 두숨 산지당 산지동구 휴수솔라당 근데 바르토라 자베세보 산주선바 제 때 우테나라 닝제 랑수 파바제레스 차동 젠동 휴수솔라당 다 데라 되게 최칸티나라 라마 캠보 속에 최셰나야 당 검견사양 임바래 공파양 임바래 다 티가라 때 산지기 제바 탐지 나네 촉도 줄비 제바티 속기 제바티래 대 속기 제바티 임바송자 다 자베 간줄침보다 땡줄침보 쯧베게 송랍 대한 잠빌레 유두 깨리 나바 나서로 말라 여도 봐 참마 대주 대한타네 대 벤주 첨보지 대한 벤주 뿌다보 내 공바 되게 맹대 맹 착보 여바래 되네 샤체 매바래 되네 까샤야 보여 기본도 첨보서요 된들 때는 누르라 벤주 첨보지 쉬어야 임바래 안에 대가라 단단데 당 알아서인데 네 최시시선 될 때인데 꾸된든도 감면세게 살보여 네 세상부 숨지산이 빼제상부 제주 그 대셔봐 그러 택세당 된바 송철라 가셔다 다 정부 쉬네 된대게 되네 뿌다보 배윤한 거 소고 쳐도 저바 된다 되네 유릉부 거는 아샤봐 된대 단다 가사하는 데는 알아서 녀야요 말에 듣고 레레 기술들 매바 제네 말한 게 되는 첨부 제네 된대 슈스 소리요래 대신도 두숨산제 그 꾸니에 대한 되네 말 빨날랜데 졸라 칸을 슈베게 고 리메 나네야 지심세도 와 지심게 꾸징알려 여버래 오 테라 실샤네 되네 nga Thailand la chine ting yes chibaye chine Thailand ke so dane so chot churba chi ta jarba chene dene tusu sanje te singbare la sanje tongko te singto bare de tusu yuru mo gorso te kam menche ke 쳔베 야고 여바지 다 저나서 제나 챙기래 된다지 사 꾸주 상을때 여바지 싱바래 다 텔라 차스를 쓰게 돼 배다 네팔레라 차스를 쓰게 돼 자기 요래 차스를 쓰게 돼 야마이나 때로 자참만 뭐 되네 고테 세르기 당데 많이 버슈도 요래 텔라 차스를 쓰게 돼 나라 소주 때 오늘 전에 부타고 신경나네 전전 마볼라된 서리기 전에 되는 소주에 가면서 소주 부타보들 슈스 소리 된다 선사 자치 메모 최대 남바선 대표해서 상매게 투라되는 근데 투라 샤로나 나도 강직표나 두숨 산제다 산제 똥라 나도 표버리 최매 강지표는 대대로 차 직체나 다 손은 같이 싹살이 어딘데 임바래 대당 대내 예지 초들 긴뒤 받서 쇼사 대내 고가라와 예바래 이그 초들 자치 최 낭최 낭케 퇴섬 검섬 낭케 솔라 대내 린 매발라 쇼수 솔야게 심중요 이나야 다 퇴섬 검섬 만나나 야 지금 말해 대내 호텔 폐고도 퇴섬 검섬 낭케 제입에 이나 대내 장고 낭고 고금면도 장고 마셔봐 체 대내 대 인지께를 필요라고도 린 매발라 대내 쇼도 솔기니 대예라 안에 메토 랭가 메토 찰 아 야보지 신야이 들르빈이 찰서 제메 살인 바래 더버 투지한테 제메 메토로 투니 버래 메토디 되게 된 셈라데네 가와다 프로와다 집이 나와다 프로에 나와다 되네 근데 영어요래 대지다 닝지 천시인 바래 니마데 이시 천시인 바래 아 니마데 메토디 닝지 천시인 바래 그래서 메토를 내가 집어지듯이 신경 대단 잡을거네 되네 샤메베게 다 등산 사가사고래 사가 맹라 오빠라 카페 단다 바우도 곰발라 이제 여바래天南星期的 샤메 게 샤라 짱마 되네 즉 오늘 전에게 두다보 대야 리고야 거라 캡상 치르들 많이 봐 캡상 좀 맞된 봐 내가 가라 샵도 치르들 사간지가 되네 오빠라 카페 생제 들으지한테 시야이 대단하게 거네 딱 아주 샴페인 생제요래 대냠 타고 솔라 되네 샴페인 그때는 로런 나봐 저번 저기요래 보고 춘춘 된다 다루 된다 왕보 마상와 된줄로 된거 로람 저기요다 마체베 개포 개모 냠타 다 반저게 거네 냠 타고 요보다 쉐유 고토네 쉐유 메게 딱 술라 있나요 즉 로메 술라이나지 뭐슈 요소네 펜토 제고래 대소사 된대야한테 제그래라 대 샴페인기 잡아야 샴페인 쓰게 돼 대한테 루비넬로 되는 제 대조치슈 대 긴디바츠 슈네 곰바델라 데나라 쇼게 쇼소다 곰자야 치조야 치조게 초바쳐야다 곰제 아니 야야야야 라마 캠보스인데 담배 치우게 총코로 거려 된데라 자치 메마소 팸네 나추 장야 나추 고야 어떻게 되는 윤세 망보질 때는데 졸라 간침부터 생방이라 다 단다 자치 메마 망보제게 로람다 춘절로 때네 다 갈라 가서 야부지 주요래 된처럼 속에 내 현대부터 로람다 잡저로 나왔지 추마서 봤어요. 추수 다음에 대소사 대린 나랑다 겐키게 소대 나이 바송사 내 강갈라 다 파는 가지고 내가 가를 두요. 땡에 속도 표야지 당달 가를 내가 라요. 대안 쳤나발에 연전 쉬어야지. 대 가르침부터 삼네. 다 대린게 내 최신 대탄들네. 전체 당보 때 들으지 쉬어야지.
Today, on the new year, the male water tiger year, I want to wish all of you Happy New Year, Losar Tashidilek. We celebrate the new year by saying, Happy New Year, may everything be excellent. How wonderful, may you be well, may you achieve great happiness, have great lasting happiness. This is what we say on the new year to one another. May you attain liberation and omniscience, right? In the snowy land of Tibet, the teachings of the Buddha spread and flourished. And this is really the heart of the Tibetan people, the practice of the Buddha Dharma. And so the the aim of Buddhist practice is that we come to attain liberation and omniscience. And so on the first day of the new year, this is what we wish each other. We say, with love in our hearts, right? We say, may you attain lasting happiness. May everything be excellent in this coming year. And so here today, I wanted to wish a happy new year, Losar Tashi Deglek, to all of you, especially the Tibetans among you, those who celebrate Losar. And actually, it's become very common all over the world for people to say to each other, Happy New Year. But in particular, those who use this particular word, Losar, the new year, Losar, the Tibetan word for that. The people who say Losar Tashidile are Tibetan Buddhists. And Tibetan Buddhism spread across the Himalayan area. It's present in Bhutan, in Sikkim, all along the Himalayas, in Spiti, in Muntawang, in Kangshar, and so on, many different places across the Himalayan range. And so at the advent of when the new year comes, the Lunar New Year comes, we say to each other, Losar Tashitelek, greetings on this new year. Why does everyone in that area use that particular term? It's actually because it's a Tibetan word that spread with the Buddha Dharma, as Tibetan Buddhist practice spread all across these areas. And so we wish each other, Losar Tashitelek, may you be well and healthy, may you achieve lasting happiness. And so this is the wish that we share with each other. There's a lot of meaning there in these words, actually. The Buddhist teachings, a lot of the Buddhist teachings are contained in just that greeting. The Buddha Dharma is vast, it's so incredibly extensive. And on a more extensive level, we could say the Buddha Dharma teaches us a presentation of how things are in the outer world, as well as the inner mind which perceives them. So what is perceived and what does the perceiving, as well as the path that leads to liberation, all of this is taught in the teachings. In short, though, we could say that the Buddhist teachings instruct about the path. And the path of Buddhist practice is the path of the three trainings. The Buddha himself said, I have taught you the path that leads to liberation, but whether you walk that path depends upon you. And all of us here on this day, the first day of the new year, this day of Losar, it's important for us to recall the Buddha, to recall the precious qualities of the Buddha's awakened body, speech, and mind, and through recalling those qualities to generate faith, and then to practice the Dharma, to listen to the Dharma teachings, to put them into our contemplations, to contemplate them and then put them into practice. This is the real purpose of celebrating the new year. That's the real benefit that we could gain through celebrating Losar, is by doing this. And I know all of you know this, but it's important. And so it's something that I want to request each and every one of you to do today. From the bottom of my heart, I make this request to you. The Buddhist teachings is so incredibly vast. We can learn about them, we can contemplate those teachings and meditate upon them. And when we do that, the benefit of having done so is that it brings happiness immediately, right away in our lives. Likewise, it brings us to a state of happiness in future lifetimes. And when we enter the bardo at the time of death, we would be able to do so without fear. So this is the benefit of practicing the Dharma. And please, those of you who are familiar with the Dharma, you already know that. But those of you who have less familiarity with the Buddha Dharma, it's important to know this and to actually learn the Buddha Dharma and become familiar in this way. The Monastic Sangha. The Sangha is the foundation of the teachings, actually. The foundation of the Buddha Dharma, the vow-holding monastic Sangha. And so sometimes we say that a monk who holds vows or a nun who holds vows is even more rare and precious than gold. The Buddhist teachings need to remain very genuinely and correctly in the world. And the way that that happens is when there are those who uphold the teachings through the three trainings, They train in discipline, they train in meditation, and they train in wisdom. And for this reason, we make the prayer and the aspiration, may the monastic Sangha be in harmony. May they keep their vows. May they be rich in study and contemplation and meditation. May they be wealthy in the practices of teaching, in composition and debate. And if that is the case, if the monastic Sangha is like that, if they remain like that, then that means the Dharma will remain well in this world. The Dharma will be able to remain stably. And also, all of everyone who practices the Dharma, it's very important that we uphold our commitments. And so I make also this prayer with respect to the monastic Sangha, that they keep their vows and remain stably in the world. Likewise, I make the prayer and the aspiration that the one who is the manifestation, the form of Avalokiteshvara here in this world, enacting awakened activity, that he too lives long, and that his form remains firmly in this world. I make this prayer. I wanted to say this today. And so here, in particular, we are in a special holy place. I'm in a special holy place right now in Lumbini, which is the birthplace of Lord Buddha. This is not just the birthplace of Shakyamuni Buddha, but every single Buddha of the past has also been born here. This is an extremely holy place. The grove of Lumbini, the Lumbini Grove, where Shakyamuni Buddha and all of the past Buddhas were born. So here there's a place that we call the Maya Devi Temple. But honestly, there's not actually that much to see there. There's an image, a few images, and some of them are actually not even in very good condition. And so it's possible that a Buddhist might come to Lumbini and see this place, which is meant to mark the birth of the Buddha, and think and feel even sad. This is not such an inspiring place, this temple. Of course, if somebody's familiar with the Buddha Dharma and really understands the teachings of the Buddha Dharma, then for such a person, they understand the value nonetheless of a place like Lumbini, someone who is familiar with the Buddha Dharma, who has studied and contemplated. But otherwise, if someone doesn't have so much familiarity with the teachings, they might come to a place like this and then think to themselves, I came all the way to Lumbini, and what is there to see here, right? People put forth a lot of effort to get to Lumbini. It's hard to get there. Maybe they spent a lot of money to get to that place. The time that was involved in traveling to Lumbini, maybe they came in a vehicle, a car, maybe they flew. They really underwent a lot of hardship to arrive there. And then when they arrive, they might think, well, there's really not much here to see. And so then I thought it's important for people to be able to have a place where they can really be inspired and generate faith. So we talk also about the sincere faith, the faith of longing, confident faith, and irreversible faith, these different types of faith. And it should be that when people travel to a holy place like this, they find things which bring about inspiration of faith. And generate devotion. But it's possible that someone without so much familiarity with the teachings might arrive in this place, and rather than give rise to faith and devotion, they might feel upset. They might actually generate a negative emotion, becoming angry, thinking, what is going on here? Why is this statue in this temple just broken down? Why are the statues here broken? These images, they might be upset. And that's why I felt it's important for there to be a temple here in Lumbini where there is an image of Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha of the present, as well as the past Buddha, Dipankara, the future Buddha, Maitreya, along with 1,000 Buddha images, the 1,000 Buddhas. I felt that it would be important for people to be able to see such a place when they come to Lumbini. And these 1,000 Buddhas that we have statues, these images that we have built, are 18 inches high. And I thought, I really wish there's such a place, that there could be such a place for people to really be able to see a temple like this in Lumbini. And so that's why we have constructed this temple, and we've actually been able to do this. We've completed the construction of the statues, the 3 main images of the Buddha, as well as the 1,000 Buddha images. And here in India in the past, thinking about these past great monasteries like glorious Nalanda Monastery and Vikramasila, Udantapuri, and so on, I thought it would be so wonderful to build a large monastery like this. And we wanted to make a temple following after these great examples of Buddhist monasteries in India, just like it's explained in the texts, following in accordance with the way that these are described in the text. So this was my wish and my aspiration. And when we, if you think about the celestial palace that we meditate upon, it has many different aspects, right? Pillars and beams, and there's a huge amount of meaning, actually, and symbolism in all of the different aspects of the celestial palace. And so I thought we should build a temple following in accordance with these kinds of guidelines. I wanted it to be large, to be beautiful for the future, something that would be of benefit to beings in the future. And we have actually accomplished quite a lot. We've finished quite a lot of the construction due to the help of so many people. There's a lot of people all over the world who are connected with me. And because of their trust in me, some people have given many people have given so much support to this project. Some of them came physically here to Lumbini to help. Others gave resources and money. Some people gave advice. And in short, it's people from all over the world, people from the Himalayan community, Tibetans, Chinese, Europeans, Americans, people from all over the world have given their support for the construction of this temple. People who are connected with me and who like me and therefore have given support and help. And it's actually all of your help that has resulted in the construction of the temple thus far. We named it Thubten Shedrub Ling. Although these days people always call it the 1,000 Buddha Temple. That seems to be the name that it's going by at the moment. And we have completed the outer structure of the monastery and the Buddha images from the central temple. Why, actually? Why is it important to construct this temple here? Well, all Buddhist practitioners from everywhere in the world consider the 4 holy places connected with the Buddha's life to be very precious and important places. And the first among those, of course, is the place where the Buddha was born, which is here in Lumbini. And again, it's not just Shakyamuni Buddha who was born here. Every Buddha of the past have all been born here. All of the Buddhas of the past have been born here. And all Buddhas actually then also achieve awakening in Bodh Gaya. So in Vajrasana, the Vajra seat. So this is something that is known in both the Sutric as well as the Tantric tradition. And because these holy places are the places where the Buddha was born, achieved awakening, and so on, places like this are blessed by the Buddha's presence here. And therefore, they are extremely important and extremely precious. And because they have been blessed by the Buddha, we ourselves can go to these places to receive blessings from the Buddha. We can receive the blessings of the Buddha's awakened body, awakened speech, and awakened mind. And when we receive those blessings, this can help us to purify our negative deeds and all of the habits that are connected with those evil deeds. These receiving blessings in places like this can help us to gather merit and to bring about the unfolding of our own wisdom. And so that's why we built this temple. That's why this temple with 1,000 Buddha images, this temple is now close to being completed. And so many of you have helped with the construction of this temple in various ways, directly, indirectly, and so on. You have really put your efforts and energies into making this come to fruition. And so it's my responsibility to show you what we've done, right? I want to show you that the efforts that you've made have not been wasted. We haven't wasted the support that you have given, and it has actually been put to good use. And you will see, I wanted to show you, I feel it's my responsibility to show you what we've done so far. It's very important that the Buddha Dharma remains in the world for a very long time. And a sign of the Buddha Dharma remaining in the world is that the images, very proper, correct images of the Buddha are visible in the world, so that people can receive the blessings of the Buddha's awakened body, speech, and mind. And images like this, Buddha images that are properly constructed, filled properly with mantras and blessed substances and so on, and present in the holy places of the Buddhist tradition. And people then are able to make a connection with them, and that connection is a meaningful connection. We talk about liberation through seeing, right? Great liberation through seeing. Just through seeing such images, what happens is that seeing a temple like this, what happens is that our afflictive emotions, our attachment, our anger, our stupidity, all of that is just naturally gradually reduces. And also our mind becomes more calm, just naturally more calm and more at ease. And our mind becomes also suffused with compassion. Naturally, we feel a sense of joy and inspiration, compassion, devotion. All of this arises naturally in our minds when we see a place like this, temple. And the benefit of that, again, is that it helps us to purify our evil deeds and our obscurations and all of the habits connected with them to gather merit, inconceivable amounts of merit. And that brings about the circumstance such that our wisdom can unfold and flourish. So we talk about, as I just mentioned, liberation through seeing. And also, this place is a place that can bring liberation through hearing. How is that? Well, that's because the Monastic Sangha will be here teaching the sutras, teaching the tantric teachings. And through listening to those teachings, this also is the circumstance of bringing about liberation through hearing. Also, this temple is a place that can bring about liberation through recollection, through remembering or keeping in mind. Because once someone has been here and has seen these images of the Buddhas of the 3 times, has seen the 1,000 Buddha images, then such a person later might bring to mind, wow, I saw that temple with all those 1,000 images of the Buddha. And that recollection actually can bring liberation. So liberation through remembering or recollection. Also, liberation through taste, through this kind of sensory experience is possible at a place like this, or because of a place like this, because when we do the ritual practices that are connected with the 1,000 Buddhas, then we can produce amrita, nectar, consecrated water that is tremendously blessed. And through the blessings of that kind of sacred substance that can be produced through ritual practices in a temple like this, people can experience the blessings of the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, the Arhats. We can receive those kind of blessings in this way. And so that can also bring what we call liberation through taste. So these are the 4 liberations, and sometimes we say, through the 4 liberations, may samsara be completely overturned. So sometimes we say this. And also, even sometimes we talk about liberation through wearing. So there's so many different ways in which liberation can come about. Now, for these reasons, I felt it's very important to construct this temple here. A temple with images of the Buddhas of the 3 times, the past, the present, and the future, along with the 1,000 Buddha images. And so we have constructed this temple. That's the main temple, has these Buddha images inside. And then in the middle floor, there are images of the 8 close sons, the Bodhisattvas. The central image is one of Avalokiteshvara, who is the embodiment of compassion. And this particular image of Avalokiteshvara has 1,000 arms and 1,000 faces, eyes. So here, then, also, this particular room in the monastery, this level, is meant to be a place where lamas can teach. They can teach the Dharma and also practice meditation and teach meditation. And then on top of that, the most important of all of the Buddha's activities is the activity of his awakened speech, teaching the Dharma. So on the next level of the monastery, we have Buddhist texts, primarily the Kangyur and Tengyur in Tibetan, but Buddhist texts, a large library with Buddhist texts in all different languages of the world. And it will be a large library, an excellent, beautiful library. The monastery has a very solid foundation. It has big windows, so it's very bright, and the library is large and bright. And then above this is where I am sitting right now, this room where I'm sitting and teaching. And here around me as well, you can see the statues here are incredibly well constructed. We have really commissioned all of the statues here for the monastery. They're not something that you could just go and buy somewhere here or there. They have been commissioned. They're really well made. They are endowed with the 32 major and 80 minor marks of awakening. And to be honest, they're just really beautiful. They've done such an excellent job constructing the statues for the temple here. And again, it really actually required a lot of effort. These images that we've commissioned for this temple are not just something that you could go to a store and buy. They've been made very, very perfectly and very correctly. And so here the Buddhas of the three times are made from a particular type of metal, which is very excellent for the construction of statues, and something that's really very excellent in the sense that it's long lasting. And I went to Thailand actually to commission these images. I went 8 times to Thailand to commission these statues and to make sure that they were constructed properly, the large statues of the 3 Buddhas as well as the 1,000 Buddha statues. And it took a really long time, honestly. It took a long time to have these statues completed, but they are complete and they're very well made. They're really excellent, you'll see. Also, the gold that we're using to gild them is a particular type of gold that remains bright for a long time, like thousands of years, actually. The brightness, the brilliance of this particular type of gold is something that's very long lasting. And we are filling the statues, all of them, with sung, this type of these mantras and relics and special blessed substances that go inside. They're written in golden letters on red sandalwood, the sung that's been placed inside the statue. So this is also really beautiful and very well done. So all of you, I just wanted to let you know this, and you should please keep this in your heart, because if you think about it, when we construct a place like this, if someone comes and offers one flower, they have offered a flower to the Buddhas of the past, the present, and the future, and to 1,000 Buddhas, just by offering one flower. If someone circumambulates this monastery one time, then that circumambulation is a circumambulation of the Buddhas of the 3 times, as well as 1,000 Buddhas. If they offer one lamp, if they make one prostration, think about it. Think about the merit, actually, that is possible to accumulate in a place like this. And so to the right side, there's also a place for the monastic community to stay, the monks, a little area for the monastic residents. On the left side is a place where any Buddhist, anywhere, from any kind of Buddhist practitioner, someone who is studying, meditating upon, contemplating and meditating upon the Dharma can stay. If they're not studying, reflecting, and meditating, off to the hotel. It's not a place for just anyone to stay, but it is a place for people who are really practicing the Buddha Dharma to stay without charge. And so this is what is present here at the temple. And then also around, we are constructing a garden a flower garden all around. And Lumbini itself actually is known to be a grove or a garden, right? We talk about the grove of Lumbini or the garden of Lumbini. It's a garden, a beautiful place with flowers. And flowers bring happiness, right? They make our minds feel light, at ease, happy, delighted. Flowers actually symbolize, we could say, compassion. The sun is a symbol of wisdom, isn't it? But flowers are a symbol of compassion. Also, we will be making a restaurant here. It will be called Utpala Cafe. There's one in Boda, so there will be another one here that will serve clean vegetarian food at a reasonable cost. The idea is not to make a lot of money, but rather to provide a restaurant where clean, good quality vegetarian food is available. So this will also be here in Utpala Cafe. And also Shenpen. Shenpen is an organization that we have that benefits those in need, a social work organization. And all sorts of people are helped by this organization. Children, people who are handicapped, old people, elderly people without resources or without education, anyone who is in need of help. This is our social work organization that helps such people in need, and we will have a branch of that here at the temple as well. And this will be a place for monks and nuns, monastic practitioners. There will be monks here who will practice. We'll have morning puja and meditation, evening puja and meditation, and also a place where the lamas and the khenpos teach the Dharma again and again and again regularly. And this will also be a place where people can come. They can come to learn the Dharma. They can come to learn and practice meditation. So there's a lot of reasons why we are building this temple. And again, so many of you have really put forth your effort in helping with these efforts. And again, a lot of it is completed already. Due to your help. Again, I wanted to show you that we haven't wasted what you have given and the assistance and so on that you have given to this project. So today I feel like it's my responsibility to show this to you, what we've done so far. I want to show you that. And I also want to show you what's left to do. I think that's an important thing, and it's my responsibility to do so. So I wanted to do this today.
Yeah. Number one, Guden Ganga Tsempe, Tsen Sambo Sumjuzani, Peje Sambo Jeju, Mazo Sanji Kiku, Shiwa Tang, Cho Tang, Shimato La Soba, Ku Kandeje, Chiku Tang, Chishabat, Tango Siri, Tango Tang. Then Lungmatang, Gojabata, Ganga, La Tsini the Tsawaji. Suram Nala Yuda, Javisuna Nava Shishani, Shinkogore. Tinania Pal Nalenda Zula Kane, La Shubeke, Sanjek Gur, a Chelap Simbache, Aju Perk and Nantan Liobare, Tinga Denta to be a Drula. Tilla Limeku, Limanane, Zishims, Rinpoche, not Mado, Gule Shinshapachi. Shinken de Bishokarmas, so Jalbos, so Jalbum Bishokarme servas. Till a take Captain Latino. Jen to Chokyi Lasopake, Ramne Nawatan, Jen to Chokyi Lasopake, and then Tepe Tension. Tension. Shashabatella, Tengajuta, Massage Batizio. Kunala Tachi should it's over. Sen Yangdong is served Kulangajoka, Tachambazio, Rintanchambare, Tachambazima. Tachi should Yagarapak be Yuki, Zola Chimbo. Manchetim, Lumbini, Nalendane, Matutat, Tine Pelpat, Yamle, Nalenda, the Yamchacho, the Pelpat there. Yamcha Chibacho, Benito Chibaga member, Major short. This one's at that. Oh, tea good thing, Shilashani, then they couldn't to Shimbari. 대소서 근데 잘와 잠지 기지 만다지 소라 만다지 용거에 줌센지 여러 소 소케니 소샤바 말에 비쇼 소 얇부 비쇼 까르마키 소샤베 꾸테 레마나네 지심 되는보지 나 골레 쉐베 꾸년지 땅 안돌려 여버 티벨랑 아랑 곰베 낭테레 티 데타요 오 티코라 벨샤네 싱바레 tinda sonza tusum sanje tang sanju tongde tsempa manda jore ta tingsa lama thaba choke te kute su singbare khande resiki tseju chinga mangbo yongdo ta maho bal ta tinda singwane ya sing tusa mare te ketsa bojido temdenda boji mandri na so kheba ke te yong tu mendo te sonza ta de chi gomba nang ki kusung tukden 다 니날 가르 유여박 창마데 all heritage를 표시하고 땅가죠. 아주 표버다. 아주 간이 싫은 곰바께 라마 타와께 닥도 세야 메르데. 아주 꼬녀레 다당 아주 꼬녀레. 맞다. 당봉 엄마한테 all heritage. 질 네팔에 그래. 락버트 잠니 자용 게 랑안쪽에 딱 풀셔버려. 알아서 가게. 저라서 자지 나라 로럼치게 강가게 딱 가가 냠으로 또 단tin 잡는 피셔버려. 태소한테 저런 예수 내가 짱마 짱장이 말. 여러와다 뭐셔다 제가 짱마 짱장 tel라지 닥도 세임스 고야라고 밀롱엄 고야다고 되나 말이야. 아주디 문에 가네 속사 드병기 때 체버진지 레라 따데 all heritage 잠링 기치 너버 대 가와샤서 또바투지 찍고 담살라 대 수샤서 나라도 강하게 다 들을때 내가 챙겨가 아주 깡깡이 녀버립시다. 땅 아주 풀셔. 당 엄마도 가지 표가서 놀러 제만 제거 가서 피야. 되는 아주 내가 짱마 쳐버래. 대쳐서 가보 나로나. 제수 열어 나로나.
All of the statues here, every single one of them are really well made. They are made with, they have the 32 major and 80 minor marks. The Buddhist statues that we've made here are really excellent. So when we make Buddhist images, whether it's a peaceful deity or a wrathful deity or a semi-wrathful, whether it's painted image or whether it's a statue, it's important that they are made correctly in accordance with the proper specifications and in accordance with how it's taught in the texts. And so this is what we have done here. But in particular, the Buddha images that we've constructed here have been made on the basis of a very special Buddha image from a Buddha statue from Nalanda Monastery in India. And it's an image of the Buddha, a precious statue of the Buddha, extremely precious, extremely blessed, that came to Tibet as one of the inner supports for practice and in my monastery in Tibet. And I brought it here. It's made from a particular type of metal that's very excellent called lima, and it's also made from something called zishin. Sorry, I don't know these words in English. But it's made of 9 precious substances, actually. And the statue is made, it's said, by Vishwakarma, King Vishwakarma. So really a precious, precious statue that was blessed by the 6 ornaments and the 2 supreme ones, these great masters from India, and also served as a meditation support for them. So it's like a very, very precious statue. For us, this is really the most precious thing for Tibetans. We, if you see a statue that's made of gold, yes, it's valuable, but it's not precious. What's precious are statues that come from India, Buddhist statues that were brought from India. And in particular, many of the Buddhist statues that we have in Tibet from India that we consider so precious are ones that were brought from Nalanda Monastery. Nalanda was destroyed, and before that destruction happened, a lot of the statues, many statues were brought to Tibet, came to Tibet. Actually, it was quite a lot of destruction took place there. The whole monastery, the library, and so on was burned down. But nonetheless, the statues, some of the Buddhist statues, did make their way to Tibet. And so this particular extremely precious Buddha statue from Nalanda Monastery in India is the example that we used for making all of the Buddha statues here. And so it's such a special, such a precious statue. And that is why when people see the Buddha images that we've made for this temple here, people think, wow, this is really incredible. It's really special. This is the reason. It's because it was based on this particular extremely precious statue that came from India itself. We have this statue, as I mentioned. It's one of the most precious inner supports from my own monastery in Tibet. And so this is the example that we used for the making all of the statues here, the statues of the Buddhas of the 3 times and the 1,000 Buddhas. And so these statues that we've commissioned came out incredibly well and are so special and precious because of being based upon the example of this precious statue. And, a lot of... looks like I'm speaking.
Jendru Chokyi La Sopa Kap Tela Keshu Tribu Wangshu Choke Chinchi La Batang Sunya Sanjek Donte Renseyo Batang Sumla. Ane Tetabeke Pakbe Cheba Choki Ke Chinchi La Batang Hona Beke Thubten Ki Tensere, Perki Chigla Thubten Ki Tensere. So the meditation object. This songs the Jalap Chaparata, Jalap Chap. So Jalbo Bishop Karma say Tisaber. Korean Ben Yamlin by Berg. Korean Ben Yamlin Ben Yamlin Tomboyba. Kari Esena Tat the remote Keba Mamboyer. Good so Keba Mamboyer. In good nane, the most simple statue is Buddha statue. The most difficult is Buddha statue. If you want to make or paint, it's so difficult to become perfect. Whatever mentioned in the text, exactly coming, so difficult. Many arms, many legs, many eyes, wrathful, peaceful, all not that difficult. But that's so simple. No, nothing. Just you very so difficult. And it says, Tong the Mitume Meba. Dawe Chok Me Sheba said, Dawe Chok Me Sheba. Sanji Chen Sambo Sunji Zani, Beji Sambo Jeju Tibi Gutentela, Tong na Mitume Meba. Tebe Meba Namla Gawa. Ani Dawe Chok Me Sheba. Dawe Ngomba Meba, Kazi in the Dago, Jalgo, Kazi in Jal, Tandon Jalgo, Jalso. Oh, the tongue told us, Jalwa tell Tene, Sem tell, then Dorna Shidi level, Shidi. Shiwatang, Dewatang, Mebatang, Tebatang, Yishitang, Niji, Lake Chakanga Pill to her, that in the new buyer, Kutel. Take Jumse machine at the arts, didn't matter. Tell also don't be congental. Kuba the Jabba channel, Shuksa Yabulishu, Chopa Yabu, Tapa Tanga channel, so only. They did that. Then Yamle Sheneta Lacton, Jerim, the Zorin, Yamle, Yamba Kari, Yamle Chennai, Yamle Yabushari, Yamle Yabushar. Tended sick quarrel to them, then say. To them, then say. There's on that Tangazu, Jambling me, Miri, Changmala, to them, then Tangazu, the figure, Arazu. 어제 내가 잡아 대신에 그 짱맞던 뿌탁바다 오늘은 촉도 저리 잡아 지르다 그래서 관계가 될라 예수 야랑체 저랑 인탁반이 예수 야랑체 가와 겁나 예수 야랑한테 손을 찍어타고요 예수 야랑 잡아서 현지 개와 잡아들 예수로는 손남 찍어야 터보여. 제수 열하잖아. 현지 개발자발 착도 전에 내받쳐 보여. But it makes sense logically. Why statue is special? Otherwise, sometimes people think, why they make so many statues? Unnecessary. There's so many statues. It's enough reason. And the best quality of statue. And we want Buddha Shakyamuni's teaching to remain this planet. So we respect why we know his teaching quality and his kindness. We shouldn't forget. So this is the main object. Others are part. The main root statue inside the main root, all the teaching came from Buddha. And all the teaching, all teaching is important, but Buddha bhajan is the most important. So that is it's good to know that. Good to know. And kuinjaba, sunkinjaba, da tokinjaba the mengumare. Then it goes to yendengijaba, chillinginjaba, that shiwe jaba mamboyer. Jaba tamchichen short sunkinjaba. Sunkinjaba donkenti sure, shakyan money. Taken dots on my ba donga ni sunkenti shakyan money matter. That gombore. Tesonsa, that goba jumsi shena, the Javikude senior did a shing. Tea susu ke chokana, the susu gobenal dishaba maimba. Zamling chi, normal, there is prayer, King Azu Kokap Tobate, Naratsu Ganga, Kalvasamboto, Sonam Shabrang. They challenge Nankin, we should use on the Ropa Ching, Charas Ganga, Ning Talk on the Jesse Yarocha, Ati Tangazuke, Zambule, Giola, the Leche Pentoso, Plutoso, Gavi Jesse Yaroti, Yaya Narona, take Kalchambayin.
And so again, the reason why this particular Buddha image, this particular statue from India is so precious is because it was blessed by the 6 ornaments, the 2 supreme ones, these great masters from India, and also served as a practice support for them, a meditation support, meditation object for them. The relics inside include the Buddha's relics and bones, and this image itself, this statue itself, as I mentioned, was a meditation object, a practice support for these great masters. And that's why it has so much blessing. Again, it was also created by Vishwakarma, who is also an incredible practitioner, not just an incredible artist. There's a lot of people who can paint well. There's a lot of people who are skilled in drawing things well. But nonetheless, the Buddha's image is one of the most difficult to draw, as Rinpoche explained. And when there is a perfect, and then Rinpoche spoke in English a little bit about the Buddha's image. When there's an excellently created image of the Buddha with the 32 major and 80 minor marks, then that kind of statue that's so perfect like this is something that when we look at it, everything is just perfect. And it creates a sense of inspiration towards virtue. And we just are never, we never get enough of seeing it. It's just we always want to look at it. We're always longing to look when we see such a beautiful image. And this is, we mentioned liberation through seeing. It's like this, actually, liberation through seeing. Seeing such a precious statue. What does it do for us? Well, our mind becomes calm. We feel bliss and ease. We feel devotion. We feel trust. All sorts of positive qualities just start to unfold in our mind. That's the benefit of seeing a really genuine image of the Buddha. If we don't know this, then we just think, oh, it's art. But it's not just art, right? There's a real, genuine reason behind creating these kinds of images of the Buddha, and incredible benefit And so even, in our own homes, if you have a statue, put it in a good place, put it in respectfully in a nice place, have faith, cultivate faith in pure perception, and treat the image with respect. This is very beneficial to relate in this way to images of the Buddha, helps our practice, whether we're practicing shamatha or vipassana, the generation stage, the perfection stage, whatever kind of practice we're doing. It is benefited by showing respect in this way to excellent statues and images of the awakened ones. And so I just, I mentioned that this statue from Tibet was used as a meditation object, actually, a meditation support. That's what a Buddha image is. It's a support for our practice. And now we are collectively offering meditation supports to the whole world. That's what we're doing here in this temple, isn't it? This is our offering. And so that way we can say, this work is really clean, what we're doing here, really pure, really excellent, really good. You should all be delighted by this fact. You should rejoice in it from the core of your hearts. And really think about that, rejoice. And you, by the way, if just by rejoicing, you're getting a lot of merit, right? When someone does something virtuous, if you just rejoice in that, you obtain a tremendous amount of merit. If you're jealous, that's a big defect. Also, a lot of negativity comes from that. But actually, it makes sense, isn't it? It's logical, actually, that these, that we connect with these particular Buddha images because of the blessings of the image upon which they were based, which was the example for them. So when we think about the Buddha, we talk about the blessings of his awakened body, awakened speech, and awakened mind. Of course, we can't see the Buddha's mind. That's not something that's directly perceptible. But we talk about the Buddha's body, speech, mind, qualities, and awakened activity as well. All of these incredible qualities that the Buddha has. But usually we say that the most supreme activity, awakened activity that the Buddha engaged in, from our perspective, is his speech, his teaching, right? And it's not just the teaching of sutra, but Shakyamuni Buddha is so precious because of teaching both sutra and tantra. And so if we really understand this, then we can understand the value of making Buddha images, making Buddha statues, and making something not just for our own house, or not just having a statue or an image of the Buddha in our own house. But here what we're doing is we're offering these images of the Buddha to the whole world, actually. What an incredible fortune to be able to make this offering to the world. So all of those of you who have helped, all of you really rejoice from the bottom of your hearts. Every one of you, please rejoice from the bottom of your hearts. What we've done here is something so beautiful, actually, benefiting and helping the world by creating these images of the Buddha here in Lumbini as an offering to the world. And, these particular images, I mentioned that they really are very well done. They are based on an example of this Buddha statue from Nalanda in India. And so these days, a lot of people, when they, monks and lamas and so on, when they see these images, they say, wait, how did you make those? Where did you make those? Where did that come from? A lot of people are coming and checking and really expressing a lot of, a little bit of surprise and admiration for the images. And actually, it's, I think, maybe not so easy in the future to create something like this. There has to be a lot of auspicious conditions coming together for something like this to happen. It's not just that simply because an artisan is skilled, they're able to make an excellent image. It's not always just like that. So a lot of conditions have to come together to create perfect Buddha images. So here what we have done so far is we have built the outer monastery, the temple, as well as created these precious inner supports, the supports for awakened body, speech, and mind. And all of this is an offering. This is all an offering to world heritage. It's an offering to this place, this world heritage site. The monks and lamas of Kanying Shedrub Ling, we are not the owners of this place. We're the caretakers right now. But this is an offering. This is an offering. The owners is the world. World Heritage. In particular, of course, it's here in Nepal, so the Nepalese, but also this is really truly an offering to the world. All of us, every single one of us together, we are making an offering to the world. You know, you've all been helping in this project. You've put forth some kind of assistance, given some assistance to the project. So we all together collectively are making this offering to the world. And the work is really, what we're doing here is really clean. It's really pure. From the beginning to the middle to the end, everything. What a pure and clean act, creating this kind of temple and statues to offer to the world. We are creating images that are a support for gathering the accumulations and purifying obscurations. Really special and unique support for this. And so this is something that's being offered to the world. It's a world heritage. It's like a shared gem or jewel for the world. Where here in Lumbini, where the place where the Buddha was born, who has made this offering? All of us. So please rejoice in this and be delighted, be happy that we're all doing this together.
I will say 2-3 words. The Buddha's teaching is very relevant and common sense and common logic and common need. And we're talking world peace. World peace will not come through prayer. Prayer will help. How much help, I don't know. To honest. How sincerely we pray also. How we pray. If we pray from one point or not. There are many questions. But really, help or harm is in our hand. What is that? Buddha said, best help and serve to other as much as you could, directly and indirectly. If not, at least don't hurt to anyone. Anyone who hurting you, don't ever think to hurt them. From physically, from verbally, from mentally. It's very relevant. Buddha's teaching is relevant, common sense, common logic, common need. Especially we need 21st century time. We need more. Why? What's going on in the world we know now. Very dangerous. Who created? Human. In this world, human make so comfortable life. So comfortable. We can eat, drink, and go toilet, and from one side country to another country we reach. And reach more comfortably, more faster. Also, medicine, skills, and living styles are very improved. So, who made? Human made. At the same time, so awful things are created in this world. For whom? To destroy for us. It's almost like suicide mission. So, that essence, the Buddha's teaching is very relevant. So 3 points. If possible, help to other much as you could, from physically, verbally, mentally. If not, don't hurt to anyone from physically, verbally, mentally. Even hurting you, harming you, don't ever think to hurt to or harm to them. How beautiful. And enlightened essence is within yourself. If you want to enlighten or not, in your hand. I only want to show you what means enlightenment. I just want to show you. I show you correct path. You need to walk. That is in your hand. So, it's very relevant. So, the enemy is not outside. Enemy is here. Ego killing is enemy. Attachment is enemy. Anger is enemy. But all the negative emotions, its cause is unknowing. Unknowing is the cause of all the problems. So you need to get the teaching, the truth. What we taking sincerely refuge to what? Taking to education. Education will help me. Material gain will help me. Fame will help me. Power will help me. Where we trusting and they all cheat you, fool you, show you wrong direction. Then whom to take refuge? The truth. You need to take refuge to truth. What is the truth? Kind heart. And wisdom. Inner waking stage. So that you can gain, if you little put effort to listen the Dharma teaching and to contemplate. So those reasons in our Gompa, now we have many monks, nuns are very educated, also many of them done practice a lot, 3 years, 6 years, even 9 years. So now they can really teach genuinely and correctly and perfectly. So now there is a program. And monks has Shedda, nuns has Shedda. After a few years from Nagigoma nuns, they become Acharya. After two and a half years. And in monastery, there's many campos and many lupins. And also international students, their knowledge, Dharma is very good. They become really scholar practitioner, one after another, like mushroom. So now, monastery offering one free teaching. What is that teaching? One is teaching about shamatha and the vipassana. And one teaching is Heart Sutra. Bhagavati Parja Parimitta. Another Kempo will already teaching Uttara Tantra Shastra in the root text. These three teaching is so important, and they teach clear as possible, logical is possible. So please join. Only you need to put little bit effort, your finger. Teacher is coming in your laptop. So that is, don't waste your time. Don't waste your opportunity. This is opportunity. Also, in 1 week time, only 3 days teaching. So don't miss that. If you miss, listen again. And if you want to teaching more logical, more profound, like monastic way, then join the Sheta, Ranjung Yishi Institute. You get BA, MA, PhD. So our site, the Monastic Sangha site, we try our best to guide you, serve you, show you the correct path. So please join. We go together and gain realization, get liberated. Thank you, all of you. Okay, these days, ngarang ki ngo malam te, Chanshu Sempa Chimbo, Jasi Shiva like, Junju Malam Nala Son Shabe, Sik Sholoka Kashidu, Tingy Kadu, then I think I'll similar Sorope, Yabochi, one at any. One of the rich Ngokosare, some one of the rich Ngokosare. Molam than the rich Takosare, some. Then I don't tell Shivuchi, ye trosso. Tell Sonsa, 다때 전부 캐드링 로라 요그래 다게 소놈데네 심제 탐지 말르바 대바 탐지 빠네네 따도 개와 제버쇼 다게 소놈서 나랑 안주 가게데 졸라칸 싱바타 낭테 산주 동고 라소바 마보 싱바 다디 소나레 다게 소놈데네 심제 탐지 말르바 심제 탐지게 대바 메게 와죠 쭉 독단은 점네 마셔쇼 개와 푸숨 소버지 개와 큐데 푸숨 소버지 다게 손놈 데인데 심전 탐지 말리바 덱바 탐지 빵는 딱도 개와 제버쇼 장주 셈데 민달라쇼 장주 잠주 쩔라 쇼르쇼 산제데 장주 셈바 남스게 데네 양타빌람라 칸데 쉑바 칸데 템바 테션도 템버쇼 두질레서 메가와 주레다 메가와 쩔라 소바타 두질레나 메제워쇼 다게 손놈 데이네 심전탐지 말르바 덱바탐지 빠네도 따두게와 제버쇼 장주 셈다 멘더시 장주 쩔라 쇼르버쇼 장주 쩔라 쇼르 짐바 땅 추춤송 소바 검 준주점 냠버샤 넬로도 근데 제게 용어쇼 장주 쩔라 쇼르쇼 두질라 다게 손놈 데이네 심전탐지 말르바 덱바탐지 빠는 따두게와 제버쇼 장주 셈다 멘더시 장주 쩔라 쇼르쇼 산제 남지 용송시 두질라나 빠워쇼 소게데 티츠드데 말아서 인탁반에 된 말랍잖다 말랍데 뱀 마세페 뉴바치보도 캐트린라.
These days, my prayer and dedication that I make regularly, it's one that was composed by the great Bodhisattva Shantideva, and it's just a couple of verses that I really, when I read them, I feel this is so incredibly beautiful. It really delights my mind. I feel like this is how to pray. This is how to dedicate. When I hear those verses, when I read those verses, I feel like this. So I think that you're familiar with them. And thus, by the merit that I have gained, may every being, leaving none aside, abandon all their evil ways, embracing goodness now and forevermore. So by all of the merit that I have gained, the merit of building this temple, the merit of creating these inner supports for the temple, the statues, the 1,000 Buddha statues, this is merit. So by this merit, may every being, leaving none aside, abandon all their evil ways, the evil deeds, the 10 non-virtues. May every single sentient being avoid the 10 non-virtues as if they were poison. And may they embrace goodness now and forevermore. Embracing goodness means practicing the 10 virtuous deeds as much as possible, as well as possible. From bodhicitta, may they never separate and constantly engage in bodhisattva's deeds. May they be accepted as disciples by the Buddhas and turn away from what is demon's work. So whatever the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have taught, that path that they have taught, may all beings traverse it. May all beings follow those teachings. May they turn away from demon's work. Demon's work means the 10 non-virtues, the 10 non-virtuous deeds. May they turn away from this. May they always avoid these. So again, these verses. And thus, by all the merit I have gained, may every being, leaving none aside, abandon all their evil ways, embracing goodness now and evermore. From bodhicitta, may they never separate and constantly engage in bodhisattva's deeds. What are bodhisattva's deeds? Practicing generosity, discipline, upholding discipline, being patient, being diligent, remaining in meditative concentration, and realizing the natural state. May they do this. May they train in these bodhisattva deeds. And may they be accepted as disciples by the Buddhas and turn aside from what is demon's work. So once more, and thus by all the merit that I have gained, may every being, leaving none aside, abandon all their evil ways, embracing goodness now and evermore. From bodhicitta, may they never separate and constantly engage in bodhisattva deeds. and may they be accepted as disciples by the Buddhas and turn aside from what is demons' work. So please keep these words in your heart, very precious words, and please make these prayers. Pray and dedicate in this way.
그 소나미시 소존네 소나미시 레종에 소나미시 레종에 단박거니 토버쇼 땀반지대 감수 좀 봤다 땀반이고 현대 살았다 댄지 폴로 다르지 땀바 요리 네베 다시쇼 Thank you.